Hello there, what's going on everyone? Today I'm bringing to you my what to buy first when on a budget video for Star Wars Legion's Rebellion faction. This will be updated for 2022 version of this video. Now granted, there'll be probably some new things that come out after this video, and don't worry, this will probably still be a pretty good guide. Of course, if you have more questions, of course, you can always leave them down in the comments section or jump in my Discord and talk to us there. I typically do these videos every couple of years, and this is the updated version for January 2022. If you guys are new here to the channel, don't forget we are giving away a lightsaber right now. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. That'll automatically enter you to win. It's as simple as that. I'd love for you to check out some of the links we have down in the description below. We have a great community in our Discord. It's very family friendly. We have different channels for Legion, Armada, X-Wing, Marvel Crisis Protocol, Games Workshop games too. Lots of tabletop gaming discussion going on there, and I'd love to have you be a part of it. Plus other links for social media are down there as well. Also, while I'm at it, I want to thank today's sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. They make fantastic tokens for games like X-Wing and Legion. We have these amazing order tokens that I actually helped work on. So if you want to check those out once you're comfortable with the game and you decide you want to take it further and really customize your tokens in a very luxurious kind of way, Luxury Playstyle has fantastic full metal double-sided tokens. You can save 15% if you use code Crabbok VIP. Plus, orders of $35 or more will get a free lightsaber nunchuck token. So that's also pretty cool. So let's go ahead and talk about what we need to get into with this video. The first thing is definitely going to be a core set. Now, there are two different core sets, so if you're looking to play the Rebellion, this is the one that you want. This is going to run you currently about $120. However, that's not really a static price. It used to be $99. It's gone up. Prices may continue to go up. I'll be talking about this in all of my buyer's guide type videos, that prices are kind of fluctuating right now and routinely increasing as the inflation and global costs of shipping and things like that continue to go up. So I would not be surprised if by the time you watch this video, that price may have gone up a little bit. Now, it's still, while it is a kind of a high-priced starter box, it's actually relatively low cost compared to a lot of other, miniatures games and what it takes to get into those miniatures games. Now, of course, if you're brand new, everything in here is going to be unpainted and unassembled. You're going to need super glue. You're going to have to put the minis on bases. This first core set, everything was like in a softer plastic. So, but there's another core set where they started to move into the harder plastic, and that's the Clone Wars core set. That's going to have General Grievous on the cover, and it's going to be, the Clone Wars era stuff. So if you're looking to play Rebels, this is the box you want. Now you're going to get some Imperial stuff in here as well. So if you're interested with another player, maybe you guys split one of those, that can cut your costs. Maybe you give them all the Imperials, you take all the Rebels. A lot of players will also consider buying a second core box. You get so many minis in here. Plus you're getting Luke Skywalker, you're getting 2 Rebel Trooper miniatures with all of the fixins, plus an AT-RT, which is a really nice support vehicle, and you're going to get one of those in each box, plus all the Imperial stuff to be counterparts to all of that. And so a lot of people will get a whole second core box when starting out because it's a really good way to fill out the armies. Now, if you're not interested in doing that, of course, because that can be kind of a high price tag item to do, then that's fine. But you also get extra dice and other movement tools and cards and all that other stuff, and barricades and other things that are helpful. So for those of you who are thinking about getting a second core box, I still think it's a great value. It's still something worth looking into. But if not, I'm going to bring to you a couple of extra buys, and I'm going to kind of rank these in the orders of things that I think are maybe most pertinent, and then I'll have some grouped items that I think work better as a bundle a little bit later on. Now, I'm not going to cover every single Rebellion expansion because there are an awful lot of them right now, and I don't necessarily need to rank like the bottom 5 or however that is. But I want to caveat everything here that even if I don't cover something, it doesn't mean I think it's bad. It just means I'm not personally recommending it to brand new players as one of their first buys. But if you're a new player and you really want something that I don't recommend, that's fine. I think the rule of cool and your fun factor should absolutely trump any of my suggestions. So these are really just my opinion, but hopefully I can validate them to you to make you understand why I recommend what I recommend. All right, so next up, I'm going to suggest the Rebel Veterans unit expansion. I think this is a fantastic expansion. It has, kind of like those Echo Base Hoth Trooper type dudes, and they are an extra core unit. Now, to play in standard games, usually you're going to want an extra core because you do kind of have the requirement of 3 core units, and the core set only comes with 2 core units, which are the Rebel Troopers. So this is a different type of core unit. So this is a different type of your basic infantry, but But in addition to this, they're kind of a more advanced, a little bit more expensive unit. This one's going to run you about $35. This also comes with an extra core unit. You're going to get a Mark II in here, and he's like basically a dude with a big old gun, and he's on a larger base, and he works as a detachment to the Rebel veterans, and he has fire support and some other cool abilities. Now, you don't have to jump into like this or any additional purchases right away. You're certainly encouraged to try out the core set and play that a couple of times first, get used to the game, and then makes, once you're kind of getting used to what you have available, this offers a nice kind of introduction. Here's some other core options for you, and different ways to kind of build out an army and fill it out a little bit more. After this, I'd recommend the Rebel Specialists. This is a $25 pack. It comes with 4 miniatures, and it also has a unit card for a generic Rebel leader. Now, you're already going to have Luke Skywalker as your commander, but maybe you want to save points and run a cheaper commander or even a second commander. This is basically a basic commander that's going to have a little bit of support functionality, whereas Luke Skywalker is more of the combat commander leading from the front. Here's more of a Rebel commander that's probably going to lead from the rear and by supporting the other units that are out there. But in addition to just that other generic type of commander, you're also getting, you can use his miniature to take charge of a group of Rebel veterans or Rebel troopers. They can go into other units and kind of be the leader for them, giving them some extra abilities. And so that's what the other 3 minis in here do. You've got a medical droid that can heal people. That can be really nice if you're running Luke Skywalker. He takes wounds, and if you lose him, that's a big deal. So it can be, well-timed little Bacta injection into Luke can be a great thing. And then you've also got some other really nice units in here that can just basically upgrade and augment your existing units. And I think that's a great value when you get an expansion that gives you more to do with the things you already have. I think Rebel Specialists is great for that for only $25. Now, probably the cheapest item on my list here is the Upgrade Card Pack. The Upgrade Card Pack was just a fantastic addition. Hopefully, we will see more expansions with this kind of mentality of just cards. And this is only $10 pack right now. So, and it has a lot of upgrades and a lot of cards that might not be available if you don't want to buy 100% of the product that's out there. Around the time that the Clone Wars started coming out for Star Wars Legion, there were a lot of cards that weren't really available to all players, especially if they only played a single faction and weren't interested in buying across the aisle and things like that. And so they took a lot of cards and put them all together in this Upgrade Card Pack, and this is really going to flush out a lot of your existing collections and giving you a lot of different options and ways to outfit some of the units that you're already going to have. Now, that's kind of where I stop off from maybe some of the very first purchases, and then once you're a little more comfortable with the game at this point, we'll move into the next tier. So if that was like S tier, maybe this is A tier or something like that. And I'm going to say the T-47 Air Speeder as the next purchase. Now, this is a big, heavy vehicle. It's a powerhouse, and it's only $35 right now. Now, I don't know how long it's going to stay at this price, but this is Asmodee's MSRP for the T-47. Part of the reason that it is so inexpensive is probably because of the fact that it's a little bit of a smaller vehicle. Now, it is still on a fairly large base, and it does count as a heavy. And that means it's also going to be hard to kill. It moves around the battlefield really fast. It's a very fun thing to fly around and shoot, and it has been... it's kind of had its points reduced a lot over time, and like the Wedge Antilles card that comes in there also can act as a field commander. Some people who might like these might want to pick up 2 of them, because at this price, it's actually a really good value. I can't believe that this is actually listed at only $35 on the Asmodee site. I don't know if it was technical glitches or whatever, but see what it's being, see what it costs at your local store. I think a lot of people always ask me, where do I get this stuff? Always check your local store first, but you can also check Amazon. You can check the Asmodee store. You can check Miniature Market. You can check. There's a lot of different places. I don't have any like sales affiliate links or anything like that to give you, but I think the T-47's, it's one of the first vehicles to come out for the game. It was definitely the first heavy vehicle for the Rebellion, and so I guess it's like an older expansion, and that's one of the reasons why its price is lower at this point in time. So if you, now I don't know how, once they sell out of them, if they'll reprint them differently and maybe they'll be more expensive, but as of right now, great value for a really solid vehicle that's been buffed and has had some card erratas. So if you are getting into the game around this point too, definitely check out the FAQs and the errata guides that exist out there. I'll probably have to do another video talking about those, especially for newer players with that kind of focus. So yeah, But that the T-47 I think is a great fun expansion to play around with. Next up, the Rebel Troopers Upgrade expansion. This is a $25 box. You're going to get 4 alien Rebel Troopers in here, and they all have really cool poses. They look great. They're great models. You'll see a lot of stuff is getting better as time goes on, and my dog is excited about that. But yeah, the Rebel Troopers are the upgrade expansion gives you 4 new miniatures, 2 new heavies, and 2 new personnels that are going to go into existing Rebel Trooper units, and you already have 2 of those if you got the core set. So this makes for a fantastic value. Or you can run the 4 of them on their own as a third Rebel Trooper unit. But most of the time, you'll want to put these guys into your existing Rebel Trooper units and give them some way cooler options than they already have. You can have range 4 units in there, all kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, the Rebel Trooper upgrade expansion, really good option once you kind of exhaust like the Z6. I love the Z6 for the Rebels. It's a really nice heavy weapon option that comes with the Rebel Troopers, but this gives you some other options as well. Very, very cool. Moving forward, I think if you're looking for maybe a different kind of commander, a little bit more offensive, but a little bit than the basic guy, but a little bit more supporty than Luke Skywalker, I think Leia Organa makes for a fantastic option as a kind of a relatively cheap commander that has great support options and a little bit of firepower too. She's mostly a support commander though. Leia's great. And she's only $20. She was an earlier commander for the Rebellion. She's got great command cards as well, and that really give her some very cool like long-range support attacks, as well as to let troopers move during the command phase. So really, really cool stuff. And she's Princess Leia. She's pretty awesome. Next up, a Jedi Luke, right? Luke Skywalker Operative expansion. Now, this one might have you thinking, wait a second, don't I already have Luke Skywalker from the core set? Well, that's why I have him a little bit farther down, but I didn't want to have him too far down because he still should be, I think, among one of the first things you consider buying. And here's why. First off, he gives you 3 more command cards to play with Luke Skywalker. You'll have the 3 from the core set, and you'll have 3 new ones here. You can combine those and run all 6 of them together with either version of Luke Skywalker. So this makes for new opportunities for your commander, Luke Skywalker, plus 6 command card options for the Jedi Luke version, who comes in as an operative. Now, if you're running him as an operative, you still will need a commander, which means maybe Leia, maybe Wedge Antilles as a field commander in the T-47 Snow Speeder, right? Or maybe that generic Rebel officer that we got in that Rebel Specialists pack. So you have some options by this point. That's kind of why I have him down a little bit. I want to give you some different commander options first. Now, Jedi Luke by himself is one of the best units in the game. He is extremely good. Now, I also don't want this to be one of your first units, because if you're playing like with your spouse or a sibling or a brother or sister, cousin or a friend across your kitchen table and you're just learning the game, you could potentially run Jedi Luke and run the table on them, and they might be not too happy if it's a learning game. So he's a little bit better after you've kind of got the look and the feel of the game and you kind of got it down a little bit to come in and say, oh, he's very, very good. And he is. He is very, very good. So now I'm going to go onto some additional purchases that I think work good as a group. They don't necessarily have to be among your first things, but I think they work well together. So the first of these 2 groups is going to be Sabine Wren. Sabine Wren is an operative expansion. She's actually not going to be too dissimilar from Jedi Luke because she does have an option to equip the Darksaber. So it's kind of cool having a lightsaber user who is not necessarily a Jedi. Sabine is got all kinds of very, very cool tricks, and she's a Mandalorian, so she's got really good armor. A lot of Rebel units don't have that good armor, that defensive ability, and she has very, very good defensive ability, and she's fun and she's fast too, and so all of those things, that's kind of one of the hallmarks of Mandalorians in this game, is that they are fast and they're hard to kill, and so that makes great for objectives, which are one of the hallmarks of the game. You're always playing an objective. You're trying to get accomplish the mission. And so she's great at that. Also, she can lay bombs. But she goes very, very well with the Clan Wren expansion, which came out after her. They work very, very well with Sabine. Now, Sabine works fine by herself, but if you're going to pick up the Clan Wren expansion, I definitely recommend you already have Sabine, because they get bonuses if they are near her at the start of your turn. That's because they kind of want, it's her family. It's literally her mom and her brother that are in this box. Plus, you have 2 different unit cards in here. You can actually run regular Mandalorians, or you can run the Clan Wren unit. And so you have actually have a pretty decent number of miniatures in here, and you have 2 different unit cards, so you have a lot of options and a lot of depth in this box. I personally prefer to run the Clan Wren unit card and have a smaller little trio of very, very tough Mandalorians that get a free aim or basically a token at the beginning of their turn if they're close to Sabine. So these two go together, in my opinion, and I think this one's Sabine's $20, Clan Wren is $40. You're getting a lot more miniatures in Clan Wren, but they go really well together in as a purchase and in your army, and they're also very fast and hard to kill. Very cool units. The next group is going to be based on the Rogue One film. I'm going to start off with Jyn Erso. She is actually a fantastic commander, although she's got a little bit more risk versus reward playstyle, so maybe a little bit more of an advanced commander for more experienced Rebel players. She's a Courage 3 commander, which means she has a very, very big bubble of courage that is going to make sure that you guys don't panic, and that's very, very helpful, and her command cards are chef's kiss. They're fantastic command cards. She isn't particularly offensive. She's a little bit more defensive, and she isn't particularly supportive, but she is a little bit supportive. Her command cards are great, and she has some great disruption and also kind of mission accomplishment focused objective cards. And they're rather command cards. So she's just fantastic commander all around. But she pairs very, very well with the Rebel Pathfinders, which are also based on the troops that accompanied her to Scarif in the movie Rogue One. Now, Jyn is going to be a $20 expansion. Not too bad. The Pathfinders are a $35 expansion. There's a couple of different ways you can run these. You can run them with Bistan, or you can run them with Pow. Those are 2 of the different alien dudes that you saw in Rogue One. One is a little bit more of a leader. The other one's a little bit more of an anti-vehicle type of character. And of course, you don't have to run them with either one of those, but you'll probably do that. And they're a pretty well balanced Rebel unit. They have a pretty good offense, and they have actually a pretty good defense as well. They're a special forces unit. So Clan Wren was the first special forces unit we looked at. The Rebel Pathfinders are another special forces unit. They work very, very well with a lot of Jyn's command cards, and they're also going to be taking a lot of suppression, so they really do want that courage bubble that Jyn offers to make sure that they can still be functional without having to worry about panicking. They're just a really, really cool unit. They do also rely on a little bit of luck. They get extra dice when they're defending if they're suppressed. So pretty cool stuff. And then the third part of this one is Cassian and K2SO. Now, Cassian Andor is just an overall a pretty well-rounded commander. He comes in as either a commander or an operative. He can be either or. And he also comes with K2SO, who is a detachment. K2SO basically doesn't come into the game unless Cassian's there. You can have Cassian without K2, but you can't have K2 without Cassian. Cassian can deploy as either a sniper or a little bit close range, but he's got lots of tricks and lots of very, very cool command cards, and he can be particularly deadly. He's not really dedicated to support, although he can support the Pathfinders and Jyn very well, but he's not a universal support. He's a little bit more focused on being almost an assassin for the Rebels, I guess is maybe a way to look at him. And K2SO has a really cool ability of being incognito, being able to kind of walk around the battlefield without getting shot, because the opponents think that he's a droid for them, which is very thematic. But all 3 of these work very, very well together, which is both thematic because they're all in the same movie together, but it's also nice to just have a whole package, a bundle of units that are going to kind of make your army kind of all work together and kind of do what it's supposed to do. And that kind of concludes the section of kind of bundles, I think, that go together. I'm gonna, at this point, this is where you could just probably branch out and try whatever else you want. And I will specify a couple of things. If you're playing multiple factions, if you're also playing the other good guys, if you're playing the Republic, so this is the Clone Wars era, I definitely think it's a huge value to look at getting the Wookie Warriors unit expansion. Now, there are 2 versions of Wookie Warriors in Star Wars Legion. Now, there's an original one that's just Rebels, and then there's this one. I'm recommending this one for 2 reasons. First off, the old Wookie Warriors are softer plastic. They're less good of miniatures. But they're okay. They're only $30. They're a little cheaper, but this new one is $5 more expensive. It's $35. But you're getting more miniatures. You're getting more options. You're getting 5 unit cards in this box. So it's not a cheap expansion, but if you're... Now, granted, out of these 5 units, 3 of them are just for the Republic. You have 2 versions that you can run for the Rebels. Basically, you can run the Wookiees as melee or as ranged. They in either one of them can do melee and ranged, but one version excels a little bit more with ranged, and the other version excels a little bit more with melee. Plus, this version gave new heavy weapon options to the Wookiees that didn't exist in the older box. So because you get so much more new stuff in this one, it's definitely a much better option than the original $30, which only had the bowcaster Wookiee as that heavy weapon option. And in this one, you get 3 options. You're getting the bowcaster Wookiee also, but you're also getting a big shield guy, and you're getting a sniper guy, which is kind of like this dude you see in the box art right there. So you're getting a lot of different options to run Wookiees, and you can put either one of those 3 guys in either one of the 2 melee or ranged versions. So like you can do so much more with this box. Plus, you're getting a Wookiee commander for the Republic, and all of the other options also for the Republic. So now you can't use the Wookiee commander for the Rebels, and so that's why I have this kind of as a maybe kind of thing. But it is very, very cool if you are playing dual faction. $35 box, you're getting 5 unit cards in this box and a lot of minis. You can do an awful lot with this. It's very cool. Very cool. Now, if you're dual faction, this one isn't particularly cost effective unless you're dual faction, but it is because it's $45 for the Crashed Escape Pod Battlefield expansion. Now you're like, what? Most of the Battlefield expansions are not stuff that I usually recommend because a lot of times they're just terrain. But this one is special because it gives you this little escape pod as a terrain piece, and there's a scenario to play along with it. But it gives you R2-D2 and C-3PO. And R2-D2 and C-3PO are actually pretty nice. They have R2-D2 is the unit. He can have C-3PO with him or not, but you can't have C-3PO without R2-D2. But R2-D2 has secret mission, and that's really cool. And he comes with his version command cards. He's an operative, and he also comes with a unit card for him and both a unit card for him and C-3PO for the Rebels and for the Republic. Now, effectively, this is like a $45, price tag on just C-3PO and R2-D2, whereas most other expansions like that are only $20. So that's why I have this so much later, because it's really only a good deal. Or it's only a decent deal if you already play both factions. If you only play Rebels, this is something you probably will want to get eventually, but it wouldn't be one of the first things I recommend. R2 is actually really cool, though, that his secret mission keyword can win you the game. And that's cool, but that's a little bit more advanced. And for the price tag, let's wait until you're a little bit more comfortable with the game. Because frankly, the escape pod scenario and the thing in the terrain piece is something that's like nice, but doesn't really help you if you want to learn to play like an organized player competitively. It can be something you do maybe at home on a kitchen table scenario if you're bored. Now, this last one is one of the most expensive units in the game. But I'm gonna include it here because I think there's an order and there's some extra value added for the AA5 Speeder truck. Now, the AA5 Speeder truck is a super, super, super fun unit to play, but it's $72 right now, which means it's crazy expensive. So why do I have it on here? Because I wanted to just include this one as an Easter egg, as like an honorable mention. Because if you already have the Land Speeder, this comes with some really great options to make that even better, and so I really like it for that purpose. It also really helps if you've already got certain other slower units like the Wookiees or the Fleet Troopers, because it's a full unit transport, so it can actually take a whole unit of Fleet Troopers and drop them off. So if you've kind of branched out a little bit and you see the big price tag on this one, I just wanted you guys to know that I think there's a tremendous value in here, and the model is so good. It's one of the best models. It takes a little while to put together. The assembly in here is not trivial, but it's also not like backbreakingly complex. But I think with all the upgrade cards and the capability of such a cool and big and glorious transport that has a big gun on it and has guys that can give out aims, which the Rebels need, and has a healer inside there, and has the crazy, the crazy astromech that lets you get a free extra shot after you're done, and all this other cool stuff. It just gives you so much. It opens up a world of possibilities, and especially if you've already got a land speeder, I think the AA5 is something you definitely should consider. But maybe not at one of your first. but it's something I don't want you to overlook just because it has a nice price tag. The model itself is also really, really good. Now, at the end of this, I do want to talk about two other things. As you're getting more like comfortable with the game, and you want to necessarily look out and play competitively, go to leagues or tournaments and things like that, you will want to expand your battle cards, and those are the objectives, the deployments, and the conditions that you have. That you do the little thing at the beginning to figure out what kind of scenario and how it's going to set up and what you're going to be playing for. Vital Assets is a $40 pack that is going to have some really cool new ways to play the game. It's going to have basically 9 new battle cards, 3 of each type, and it totally kind of changes the game and gives new objectives and kind of changes what you would expect to face. And now all of a sudden, whoa, this one's much harder for me to play with the same army that I normally play. So maybe I should have, maybe I should bring some more vehicles in, or maybe I should bring some more mobile troops in and things like that. So it really changes the game up, and it gives you some cool little models and minis and things that you can use as objectives and terrain and stuff. Usually for the different objectives that come in this pack. And to a lesser extent, the Priority Supplies pack sort of does the same thing. It's only $25, but it only gives you 3 new battle cards. 1 new objective, 1 new deployment, and 1 new condition. There are good ones, though. There are very good ones, and so it's worth including that, because if you do want to go play competitively, you want to probably have all of the battle card options that exist, and these are the only 2 packs that have battle cards that can be used in tournaments. So I think those were worth mentioning, but you want to wait until you're maybe thinking about ready to go into a tournament. Now there's a lot more Rebel upgrades that are out there. Maybe you really want Han and Chewbacca, maybe you really want Lando. Hey, there's nothing wrong with those. Those guys are out there too. There's a lot of other stuff available, just not stuff that's on my immediate list of things to initially recommend. Look, Han Solo just got a little buff. He's probably a little better. But I think to get Han Solo, you also have to go out and get Chewbacca also. And so like it becomes like one purchase becomes another purchase and becomes another one. And that's probably only going to be if you really wanted to run them, because they're still not great, but they're pretty good. But, there's a lot of things that didn't make the cut. And I know when I've done these before, people are like, how come you don't recommend this? Or how come you don't recommend that? All those things are great, but this is kind of where I just drew the line of what I was going to talk about in this video. There's plenty more, and if you have questions, I'd love to hear about them. Let me know down in the comments or drop in my Discord. I'd love to talk to you guys there. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me today. Look forward to more videos. I know a lot of people have been asking about the Clone Wars. The 2022 Clone Wars guides are going to be coming, so stay tuned for that. I should have those up within about a week or so. So I'll be working on those next. And of course, I'll be doing these for other games too, like Armada and X-Wing, and maybe even Marvel Crisis Protocol one of these days. Although I think that one is a little more subjective on just what kind of stuff you want to play. But yeah, very, very fun stuff. I'll talk to you guys later. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this channel possible. So thank you for your continued support. And always remember, let the Wookiee win.